Evolution MX GRN Register offers an alternative method of dealing with the delivery process or goods received notes received from suppliers in relation to the purchase orders. It exists as an additional module inside the purchase orders module and can be added at any point. It can also operate alongside your existing GRN processes. The benefits of having a GRN register means that you're more likely to react to the documentation that's been received. Often there's a problem with who gets a document, what they're going to do with it, and whether it ever gets processed. The GRN register works on a very similar principle to the invoice register already available within the purchase ledger and the subcontractors, in that emails will be received to a dedicated email address, and then it's up to the operator to process them accordingly. Now, the information for GRNs can be presented as is being shown here on a dashboard. Dashboards can be tailored to include the exact content that you require. My example dashboard here is showing a summary of what is expected in terms of the delivery notes that have been received. So in green, I've got 3 unprocessed. So no purchase order has been matched to that at all. The unmatched could be where the purchase order has not been fully allocated. And where I've not started to do the allocation could be on a separate tile. So you can choose to have a summary of the different to-do areas, if you like, that you could then delve into. If you don't like the dashboard approach, then you can just have a menu-driven system, which allows you to go directly into any number of different menu options that you've decided to use. With my GRN register dashboard, I can just drive into one of the particular tiles just on a quick drill down. So my 3 items that have been received under email are now ready to be processed. I can browse them to see what has been received before I make any decision as to what I'm going to do. Call up an item from the listing. You'll be presented with a clear image of the document on the left-hand side. You can scroll around to see its full content, and then using the input on the right-hand side, you'll be able to match this to the appropriate purchase order. Now, you can either select the purchase order number initially, in which case you'll see all orders for all suppliers, or if you go into the supplier field first and either enter or search for supplier, the orders that you'll then be presented with will be purely for that particular supplier. You can have your own views decided upon here, where you can display the information that's relevant to you, and then just remember that as a favorite for next time. So with this particular purchase order 152, I can find it quickly on the list just by using a column filter, call the item up, and then I'm able to process the information. The GRN reference will be a mandatory field, typically the supplier's delivery note number. You can use notes if you wish to assist with the partial processing of the delivery note or the GRN, should you need to look at it back onto the list later on. Going straight into GRN allocation will allow you to see the lines of the purchase order that are now available to be delivered. These will be shown with the information required on the analytics grid of your preference. So you can easily tailor this to show more or fewer fields, or even choose to highlight, as I've done here in yellow, those fields which are able to have input made to them. So it could be that you're going to individually process the lines here. You could use a select tick over on the right-hand side, which will assume the full quantity on that particular line. Or you've got an overall option at the very top here of the bottom section for select all, will assume that everything has come in. You can then undo those items that haven't been catered for as part of this delivery. So full or partial deliveries, you've also got access here to documents, which will primarily show you a copy of the purchase order that related to this delivery. You've then got options of adding in further documents should you wish to, either using the drag and drop or the browse option, which will open up your folder display, allowing you to access a file that could be to do with the condition of goods received, damages, anything at all that's relevant to this particular delivery. So I can add that easily to the list of documents, which is now available under that particular GRN. Okay, if I were to process that further, I can obviously save it at this stage without committing to it. But if I wanted to submit that, that will then pass through the system. As is the case with normal GRNs, this will do all of the required updates. So it'll update the status of the purchase order. It'll update the individual line quantities and values. It'll make that all important accrual posting as well through to your nominal ledger for goods received, not yet invoiced. And you'll have an outstanding view of what purchase orders have been received and not yet invoiced. The result of the processing through the GRN register can then be seen in various places. Using the dashboard here, I have a tile for purchase order inquiry. If I were to access that, I could get up-to-date information about that particular purchase order I've just processed the GRN against. So if I drop down on the search here, I can browse the purchase order that I'm interested in. 152. You can see already that the status in terms of the delivered value has been updated. It's not yet invoiced. So we've got that all important GRN accrual has been made. And if I were to pick the full details up, I'll be able to see then the content in terms of the products, the quantities, as well as the values. And then you've also got access to the GRN information, which will show you the fact that the GRN was done across all 3 lines. And also down at the bottom, the document will open up and show you all the documents relevant now to this particular purchase order. But also we've got the additional document that was attached during the GRN process. So there's the original purchase order, the delivery note or dispatch note, and an accompanying photograph or extra documents. Okay, and those are available now within the purchase order. You have the option of going back and adding on further documents should you need to at any point. Okay, so that's the GRN register, now available as an additional module under license to be added into your Evolution MX system.